Welcome to the Daily Jump. And in this segment, we're going to be having part two of a conversation with Bermalva Porter, who is a shaman, owner of the Pontiac Wellness Center, and is the coordinator of an annual outdoor festival called Bhakti in the Woods. In part one, I neglected to mention that she's also a musician as part of the Bhakti Connection, and her music will be featured at the end of both this segment and the last segment I did with her. She's also a healer of sorts and just an amazing human being. So I hope you enjoy this part two of my conversation with Bermalva. Tell me a bit more about what you mean by spiritual sustainability. I like that phrase.
Well, there are many belief systems within various spiritual realms, let's say, that have segregated or compartmentalized particular populations from the rest of humanity. And what's interesting about this pandemic is that we're all experiencing the same thing. So somehow we're being unified in this. And even without knowing it, we are. And there's a lot of barriers that have been put in place that prevents people from connecting to people, beliefs, stereotypes, judgments, all of those kinds of things. And I think that at this moment there is a big opportunity to go beyond that and just kind of drop it, and that will create more of a sustainable world. Because as long as we think that we are if a group of people thinks that they are doing their life in the only way, and that's the only way, then it's really not sustainable. That type of thinking isn't sustainable because it's in the box. It's in the box, and it's you only have the space of the box to grow in, and so I think, and we see this happening everywhere in the media, where people are, helping their neighbor, or, very small things like that. But I mean, and those small things can have quite a large effect in the bigger picture. All these little things, checking on your neighbor and helping out and whatever we're able to do really helps, I think, the heart of the earth in her evolution or rebirth that we're embodying.
So
the unsustainable part is the part that separates us from the other, and
And would you say also separates us from ourselves?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So as we're at week 5. I think you're on similar timeline as to where I am. What are some of the things that you're seeing around you that you think that you feel you wouldn't want to keep on the other end, that are obsolete, and those things that you've maybe discovered that are fresh and new that you would want to keep?
It's a good question. Right off the bat, noticing the unsustainable aspects of how I create from the perspective of where I was creating things. So more of like from my personal will, and wanting to impose my my idea or concept and make it happen in that way.
Wow.
And realizing that that is not always the most, I don't know the word, but it's not always the easiest way. Even though it seems like it would be, if only I could get it done this way, you know. But yeah, and so recalibrating my internal structure, which seems to be happening automatically, just by noticing what is obsolete in that. And it's more just being in the flow and recognizing where the inspirations and the creative juices are coming from. And you know, because I'm very, very creative. It never ends. And so I think there's a maturing of discernment in there about, okay, what's actually gonna benefit all the most here, you know. And what is in alignment with my gifts. So taking part in things that are sort of left of center towards the expression of my gifts, that's been a huge realization of, yeah, I it's like I can't even think about putting energy towards things that I previously had that aren't in alignment with the expression of my gifts.
Wow.
Big changes coming.
Well, and I think
We always have.
I think sometimes too, like when we think about, okay, what can I do for the greatest good? Sometimes our mind comes up with really great ideas and a whole plan of how to get there. But somehow subtly we miss that, you know, maybe what that plan is really in service of. Like that there is some, by having that plan or by how we understand what is going to benefit the most, sometimes we miss what it's actually going to benefit the most. You know, that if we're too attached to this is how it's going to look and how I'm going to get there, we miss on the journey other options and other possibilities, that if we're 100% present to the moment instead of to our plan, you know, that we actually miss getting to where we were hoping to get to.
Yes, and that, Rajem, you hit the nail on the head there, because that exact thought that you're describing was something that came up and was a profound moment to discover that it's the simplicity. So if it's simple, without all of the constructions that I could make around it, so, and just I find coming back to that, the simplicity aspect is the guiding force for me personally in this, and in realizing, okay, well, what do I focus on? You know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And being in simplicity in this retreat, you know, everything kind of stripped away, what I would usually be distracting myself with,
Yeah.
um, has been a supreme catalyst for that. Mhm.
I have to echo that that's been my reflection, particularly this past week, is I've realized, 'cause first of all, even though I've been talking about this is a retreat, I thought in some way I wasn't on retreat because I'm still so busy with my family. And in fact, I have less quiet time, quiet time. But I realized, no, how strongly I am on retreat, because so much of the things I normally would be investing my time with, like what you're saying, have been stripped away. And I too have realized the number of things that I would be distracting myself with normally. And I hadn't even realized that they were unnecessary distractions and that they were taking me away so much. I thought they were taking me to where I wanted to go, and I realized that they've been taking me away. And I've been quite surprised with that, especially kind of at this point in where we are.